You also do some energy work, so every food has a different type of energy. Is the energy work that you do, is it kind of like Qigong or Reiki, or are you doing a different type of energy?
Well, a lot of people said it's a torture chamber. Because the Buddhist energy work has its own foundation called Chamber of Temptation. So the human body operates on 360 meridian with 880 energy field that circulate throughout your body, and then runs on one engine called chamber, which locate right behind your heart. So it's right below your left shoulder blade, and its size differ based upon person's energy level, stress level, and anxiety level. So everything happen and beat, whether we are upset and angry or happy or excited. This heart beats no matter what happened.
Yes.
But there's always shadow up behind the heart, what Buddhists believe, that effect. So whenever people get tense, stressed, that area become very hardened.
And so you have a technique that releases?
Yeah, so it's very, very simple. You have to have a focal energy field in your chi, along with the strength of your body to break that knot.
And so you're not physically touching?
I'm physically touching.
Yeah.
People, leave me and swearing, and they usually call me next day and say, I never slept better in my life.
Now, and it's okay you touch women too?
Well, it's not any vital area that, affect, but right behind the heart. So it's like I ask their permission, if they, need to have.
And how long does it take you to do this energy work?
It takes about minimal of 45 minutes.
Whoa, that's a long time. And it must take a lot of energy out of you.
Yeah, so it's all conducted based upon your chi and your breathing work, focusing on that person's need. So it's almost like an electrician going through that set of TV that doesn't work, checking all the power source. So finally diagnose where this missing link is happening. So that's kind of a simple translation of my energy work.
Okay. And, well, you already mentioned the 5 most important things human needs, right? So I'm not going to ask you that question. Why don't you tell our audience some of your successful healing stories?
Well, I had a lot of experience throughout my, culinary restaurant and Buddhist philosophy and teaching. I have quite a few. I have one lady from I think she's from where Mayor Daley lives.
Hyde Park?
Hyde Park.
Yeah.
I had a call from this lady, said that, she has one last wish. And I asked her what it is, and she said she's been battling with like 7, 8 different kind of cancer. And she just got released from the hospital and going in, not the hospital, from the hospice center where people dying.
Yeah.
So there, she was released from that center, and then they said prepare for the funeral arrangement, and she came to the place behind the pickup truck, tied up with the lazy boy, one of those convertible recliner, because half of her body is so swelled up like a Michelin man, Michelin tire commercial, and top of her body was so thin, it's almost like looking at the Grateful Dead poster. This Grateful Dead poster, usually a skeleton with the. So I asked her, what can I do for you? So she said, for last day of my life, I want to have something taken in my mouth so I could enjoy the flavor. Because she's been on some kind of a liquid formation for like 3-4 years in last stage of her battle with the cancer. And I gave something liquid. I gave her some kind of alkaline liquid puree concoction. So she kept throwing up several times. And I asked her, I'm going to go back there, try to make you accept this food, but it is you have all the power and command to accept this food. It's not my concoction. I'm just supporting person, try to help you, but it is you have all the power within you. So there's no saying who has to go first and who has to go last. Not like we are not like a milk or egg, carton of egg have the expiration date next to it. So I went there like 3-4 times, doing same concoction. I just bring the same food back to her. Finally, on 5th try, she ended up swallowing this concoction for several spoonfuls, and she was so happy. And I gave us a little bit more, so she left. And then it was a Sunday. It was I think it was Sunday. I had a call from this person. Sounds very official, asking my name, my title, and all that. And finally, he asked me, what kind of food did you feed to this person? So I said I gave her some purified, vegetable and miso broth. And I thought she passed away, So I told the person, if you want to have any kind of documentation of what I fed, I could, give all the proven evidence. And he said, no, Mr. Choi. Then it sound very much, vibrant. And he said, this person's still here after 3rd day, and she want more of those broth. So is it possible for me to come pick up those broth? So that was how many years ago? Several years ago. So she's still living.
Wow, that's a pretty amazing story.
So
did she take your cooking classes?
Well, now she become biggest keynote speaker for the cancer-related event. So she, moved herself into West Coast and talk about all the formation of meaning of life. It's not someone's command, someone's food, someone's nutrition. It's all within each individual has that power to open and accept. So she finally accept that food to create healing and become healers of her within own spirit and her body, just making it together. So her life and her temple still existed after all this year.
Well, that's a great story. And having been a customer at your restaurant many times, I know you charge very reasonable prices for your food. And also, you give a lot of help to people without expecting money in return. Did you help this? Did you charge this woman, or did you just do it out of service?
Well, a lot of time, like people who's in need. I don't see the value of the person as the marketable for the money coming in. If I could serve, if that person wanting to accept my service, I want that person to be healed first.
Yes.
So a lot of time I said, I want to keep you long and healthy, so I can make money off from you later.
Yeah.
Well,
I know that because having known you, I'd say, it goes back to 93, 94. Started going to Jim's Grill and then to Amitabha Restaurant. How do you compare, say, modern medicine with using food as medicine?
Well, first of all, it's all monopoly of those, big money. Pharmaceutical companies, they invest a lot of money to invent new kind of, drugs to make people get well. But a lot of time, we still finding out all the side effects. Many years down the road, that becomes poison. Back then, it was a very wondrous, healing, medication. But if you read all the, prescribed drugs, there's a try to cure one thing. There's about hundreds of side effects.
Sure.